INKcredible new year. Oh my creative peeps. Hello, hello, hello. It's a new season. It's a new day. Fresh anointing. I have no voice. Well, it's a little scratchy right now. I don't know what the heck was going on with the air yesterday, but my voice is like my throat is just a little scratchy. Hello, people. Incredible greetings for 2024. I got to change up all my stuff over here. Facebook always makes it to where I'm private. Alrighty. Hello, hello, hello. Y'all know I was not about to let this day go by without coming on live and saying, welcome to the new year. I ended the year like almost like literally. I was on live on TikTok until we were on to what? 10 o'clock? A little past 10 o'clock yesterday. So I ended the year with my peeps, and I'm going to start the year with my peeps. All right. Hello, 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 people. All righty. No. I actually don't like that. I know some people like they do the big meals and like the, what is it, black eyed peas? No. I normally don't do that. Just have our regular meals that we would normally eat. So my husband, I think that his family does, because my husband is Haitian. So I'm not sure if, I know it's some type of soup I always hear people talk about. His parents or his mom, his sister may have. I'm not sure if he's going to go over there to like get him, but if I'm not mistaken, for them, there is some soup that they normally make for the new year. I forget, something jus. I can't think of what it is, but I know there's some type of soup. And there's any Haitians in the audience, maybe you remember what it is, but I don't remember exactly. But yeah, I don't do anything special for New Year. I mean, like, it's like a week since I ate all that not Thanksgiving, Christmas food. So all right, I'm just trying to share out here real quick. All righty. There we go. Hello. How y'all doing? Now I can see my face. I had to share it all out. Okay, I had to get rid of that. Hello, Cassandra. Maddie, how art thou? Shawnee D. Incredible greetings. Ty. Those are some of the names that kind of popped up. What am I making? I'm not making anything. Is it that y'all want me to make something whenever I come on? You would like to see something made? Okay. So I did not have any plans to make anything because I didn't want to turn like the heat press on. I didn't have like, I don't know. I don't have any orders. I don't have any classes. I don't have any like thing to do like with demos. But if you would like to see something made, I'm up for suggestions. We can start the new year off creating something. Incredible greetings. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. New possibilities. Incredible new year. Trying to connect to the car. Incredible new year. Incredible greetings. New year greetings. Hello, hello, hello. All right. So, hello, everyone. I am Shakia, also known to you guys as Shakia the Professor. Owner of HSINK365, home of the Honestly Speaking brand of products, where we carry the absolute best, most efficient, hassle-free sublimation paper on the market. With our sublimation paper, you can sublimate as low as 365 degrees, as fast as 30 seconds, which is way faster and lower than the average paper on the market. You are able to get great results. Look at my shirt. Look at it. Great results like this, and I did all of these using plain paper, bright white. And some, you may see some of those settings like premium matte, and it's like that's using a lot of ink. On average, it takes a really, really long time to print out like just one sheet. But with the plain paper setting, it actually speeds up the printing process, so you can get to pressing your design to your substrate a whole lot faster. And then you can get it done in a faster time. So definitely check out our products, hsink365.com. That hassle-free part, I am going to talk a little bit about that as it relates to the, like, if you get a substrate from a particular like company, they might recommend something, but when it comes to our paper, yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about that aspect in this live video, right? But we're also the home of Silaholics Anonymous. That is my online platform where I have been teaching you guys how to master using Silhouette Studio for all of your creative needs, whether you are a paper crafter, if you want to create things using HTV or adhesive vinyl, if you want to make printable things, whether it's like party favors, stickers, things for your business, you can use Silhouette Studio to create your thank you cards, your like, thank you stickers, or anything that you put in your packaging. You can use it to make your first or final, business card. I've even assisted some people with making logos, making your thumbnails so that they're all the same size on your website. All that and more can be done in Silhouette Studio. And I have been teaching now for 10 years. We are in our 10th year of me teaching you how to use Silhouette Studio and all of its tools and all of its glory. Now, you don't need to have the machine. I do have 6. I have 6 cameos. Okay. Hopefully, I will add the white 15-inch one at some point when they have it, but I have 6 cameos. So I do, still do some things as far as like cameos. The biggest thing, it seems like, is print and cut. I don't ever really see a lot of questions for like just the machine in general, unless it's like troubleshooting and, oh, it's not cutting. And that's normally a really, really quick and easy fix to, like, if your print is jumping in a certain area. Once I have that person, like whoever asked that question, send me a picture. It's like I already knew what the answer was, but I wanted them to post a picture so I can like circle it for them so they'll know. But outside of that, it's not too much. I'm not sure if you guys have issues with your like cut settings and knowing the blade depth, the speed, the force, because I never really see those questions. Only thing I ever see is help me with print and cut. So we've done a few of those over time. We'll have some more print and cut videos, but I like to teach Silhouette Studio separate from the machine. On this platform, we like to consider them to be 2 different entities, because you can design in Silhouette Studio and then send it to something like the Caesar Juliet, Caesar Romeo. Technically, if you are a Cricut user, you can still use Silhouette Studio and then be able to save it as an SVG with or without Business Edition. How many of you guys here know how to save an SVG without Business Edition? that's a question that you guys can kind of answer in the chat as you know I'm finishing up my intro. But we do teach Silhouette Studio, and you know, on our YouTube, that's kind of our free platform. You can filter through, like I said, about 10 years, couple thousand of videos over that time frame. And we also have 365 Creative Academy, which is our online academy where we have more structured classes for a very small, affordable fee. We definitely try and keep our classes affordable for you guys, especially our newbies who are just starting out. And it's like, until I, you know, maybe get some sales under my belt, you know, looking for really great training at a great cost, you can definitely check out our classes. You can purchase them on our website with our products so that you can build up your rewards points. And then that way you can eventually get maybe $5 off of a next class or $5 off of your purchase of ink or paper. Someone actually just redeemed their rewards points for $20 off. So definitely want to take advantage of enrolling in your classes via the shop site, because you can build up your rewards points and then get instant savings on future purchases. So let's see. So that's that. And yeah, that's all of our all of our entities and how you can connect with us this year. So okay, I'm not going to use the word, I almost said it. So we were on a Q&A hiatus for quite some time. You like how I did that? She knows what I'm talking to. So so we were on a Q&A hiatus, but I absolutely could not start the new year and not do a Q&A, because I know while I was like, you know, not doing the full on Q&As, some of you guys got new equipment. You may have some general startup questions about this equipment or what it will look like. You know, is it possible to start a business with this equipment that you guys got from Santa? So we had to definitely kick this year off with a Q&A. So I'm hoping you guys are ready, okay? And you have your questions. So I do see some of you have a question about how to redeem your points. Just give me a moment. I will go to the website. We do have a video on that, but if you would just, you know, give me a moment, I can go over to the site. But there, like right where the points are, it does say redeem there. But I will take you guys over to the site for that one. Okay. I didn't know that without Business Edition. Yes, I mean, you technically have to go through a third-party application. We do have a video for that. So you can check out our YouTube. So if you search, um, I would say search Silaholics Anonymous, free SVG, or save SVG free, like that terminology. But make sure you're putting Silaholics Anonymous in front of it. And we have a video. We actually technically have two videos, but the older one I went through like more like designing. The second one is the one where it's like straight to the point on how to do that. But it's a third party. So you save it as a Silhouette file, and then you open up that, well, you link that Silhouette file to a third party website and it will convert it for you. When you're doing it though, you cannot have any like background. So something like this could not be saved as an SVG. The words, because it's just solid colors. If I had this one where it was still layered, I could save it as an SVG, but as is, like a Tumblr wrap or something like that, you can't save that as an SVG if it has any JPEG or PNG elements to it. It has to be solid colors. I've never really used it, but now I'm going to try now that I have detailed help. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I did get the end of the year. Did I miss? Yes, the Zoom happened already. It was on the 30th. So the live session for the end of year happened on December 30th, but the playback is there. Hello, Rose. You are a newbie. Oh, I actually kind of moved away from that. If this is your first time catching me live, or just being like, if you're just finding us on YouTube or Facebook, if this is your first time catching me live, let me know in the comment section that you are a first timer. Also, let me know where you guys are watching from. All right, so we'll go to your question. I forgot to go to present screen. There is a full detailed video. I'm just going to kind of go over this real quick. There is a full detailed video on our YouTube on redeeming your rewards points. I'm telling y'all, we literally have videos for everything. It's not very much that I haven't made a video for. All right, I got to kind of move y'all like this. So down here in this little corner, it says rewards. You're going to click on that. And then it's going to say, oh, well, ways to redeem. I'm not logged in. Hold on. Uno momento. All righty. All right. So you're going to click right here where it says rewards. Then you're going to go to ways to redeem. Then you click on redeem. And you're going to move the slider. If you have a whole lot of points, and you don't really need to use them all. If you go and you max them out and you're not really purchasing that amount, you're going to lose them. So try to get it as close as possible. If you watch the video on like the video that I have about rewards points, I show you how to like really dial in, because on here you can't, like, it's kind of weird, like the range that you'll get into. So if you need to get it where it's like at a specific, like closer to the dollar amount of what you're trying to spend, if you have a lot of rewards points, you have to watch that video, but this is how you would redeem it. So once you go and let me see, how close can I get to? So I was trying to get to 24, but it won't let me. So we're on 34. I'll take that one. And we're just going to hit redeem. It's telling me I already have a reward available. Only one can be used per order. Do you want to redeem another? It's just my thing that I just have a bunch of points in there. So I'm just going to say continue. It's going to give me a discount code. Now, what I'm going to do is this is what I normally do. I guess no one used it last time. I'm going to drop that code in there. It is a $34 code. First come, first serve, but there is the code. Whoever sees it and goes to the site and use it, you got a free $34. But that's how you were doing your points. Let's see. First timer from Delaware. Rose is watching from Atlanta. Should I buy a 15 or 24 inch? I'm guessing you're talking about the silhouette. And then I have a lot of people who will be 4X, 5X shirts. I am definitely not an advocate for the 24 inch. Some people have it, they love it. Just based off of my experience when it comes to cutters, I don't recommend the 24 inch. I've never used their 15 inch, but it is like the way that it's made and like the functionality of it, and from me helping others, it seems to be like kind of like okay, because I have 6 12-inch cutters. I'm a silhouette instructor, so I do want to have that machine. So whenever that 15-inch one comes out, I'll purchase it so that I have the newer model, because they brought back like repeat job. And there's some other like features to it, and I want to be able to teach that in my classes. But I personally don't have a need for another 12-inch machine. So I will get the 15. I don't know if the 5 will come in the 24. I have not seen that advertised. I think that the 4 is the only one that kind of has the 24 inch right now. And It's probably for a reason why the 5, they haven't advertised anything for a 24-inch, because that 24-inch one really wasn't like, it had some issues. So I would recommend, if you want a 24-inch printer, that thing over there, that beast, that Caesar Romeo, oh, hunty, you can still use Silhouette Studio to design, because their Leonardo Studio is not quite as intuitive and you don't have as much freedom of designing as Silhouette Studio. I do it quite often. I design in Silhouette Studio and then I save it, like either as an SVG file, or if I was going to do a print and cut file, I would save it as a PNG file, and then I'll take it over to Leonardo just so that I can actually cut it. So 24-inch, I'm going to recommend the Caesar Romeo. If you're only wanting like 15 inches, Cameo 5 Plus. I'm sorry. Don't ask me where my head went just then. All right, hold on. Let me go over to their website, because I don't think that there is a 20. I've never seen a 24-inch advertised for the newer one, but I could be mistaken. But I'm going to go and look. Oh, wait, I can let you guys see. I'm on the screen. Yeah, I've never seen a 24-inch advertised for this one. Hey, Crafting Virgo. I am INKcredible. How art thou? Hey, Kim. That makes me feel I'll need the ability to print and cut larger. Let's see. I wish I'd found you before. I do have a lot of students that are hybrids, to where they will design in Silhouette Studio and they will save it and they will cut it with their Cricut, because they still like, I guess, the ease of how Cricuts work and like how you can cut with them. Some people like the fact that it will break the color. Like, you go into there, because let's say it was an SVG, you fill in the colors. It will automatically break that up into like different, mats that's already, it'll already kind of group or push the colors to the top and you don't have to move it around. Some people like that part of Cricut. Some people like that they don't have to worry about necessarily like adjusting a blade. So there are, for some conveniences to having a Cricut, but the software just doesn't do it for anybody. If you're wanting to do print and cuts, I often get questions about larger than mat cuts, and I'm like, okay, are we talking about print and cuts, or you're just doing like a regular cut from vinyl or from paper, and you want to do it larger than mat? But the print and cut one, you can't do really large print and cuts from Cricut Design Space without kind of really making straight lines in places. Because I have a wide format printer and I have the Cameo, and you have the ability to go up to like 12 by 24-inch paper. I normally doing like either 12 by 18 paper or 11 by 17. I've done really, really large print and cuts where the cuts are in places like arms or wrists or foot, and you would not realize like there was a cut there unless you're like right up on it. So there are advantages to having a Cameo depending on what type of crafts or projects that you're trying to do. Yeah, the sizing for print and cuts is not the greatest. Oh, you caught that. Let's see. So for 4X or like larger type shirts, if you're doing vinyl, there is a way to break that up and then piece it together on a shirt if you're doing vinyl. If you're doing something like sublimation, that you're going to print like in-house yourself, if you wanted to do print and cuts to like Jet Pro 3G, me see what else you would print on. Like, yeah, pretty much, because all the stuff for sublimation, you don't really need to do print and cut where you're doing registration marks. You can cut the vinyl as big as you need and then press the sublimation print. For like a 4X shirt, you can go up to like 24 inches wide and you can go 12 inches. So you can definitely, as far as like just vinyl cuts, do a much larger shirt. But for the print and cuts, yeah, you don't want to get, you really probably don't need the 15 inch, to be honest. If you had like 11 by, I've done large shirts with 11 by 17 Jet Pro 3G. I've even done some where it was a larger shirt and I took two and I just split it up. So silhouette will allow you to like really, like I said, make really clean cuts. So when I press them together, like you really couldn't tell that there was a break in it. So either will work. I've done 4 or 5X shirts and all I have are cameos. Oh, it looks like somebody took advantage of, let's see, did somebody get to use it? Did somebody get to use the, yep. She got her some 13 by 19 paper. She was like, look, y'all playing. Because I can see with the price that she just paid, $11. Yeah, she used it. So thank you so much for visiting the website. That will go out tomorrow. She was like, y'all was slipping on y'all pimping. I'm taking advantage of this. All right, let's see. I think I may have just I think they may have just improved the Pro since it has been discontinued. You said they improved it? I don't know. It'll let you know, like, if they kind of recognize the kinks and what the issues were in the Pro. If a Pro doesn't, over a 24-inch doesn't come out with the 5 version, it's because they finally listened to some folk that they weren't quite ready for it. So maybe when a 6 come out, they'll have a 24-inch. But I'm telling you, the Caesar Romeo is a great machine to get if you want a 24-inch one without having to go to like the Graph Tech. Hey, 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 incredible greetings. Then wait. Yeah, you can do, hold on one second. Oh, sorry, I was talking to them. Um, let's see. You have the Silhouette Portrait 3. Thank you for the information on rewards. I didn't know I had $22 in see, look. I never use my mat. I always would cut without it. So I'm very big on, like, for me, I feel like in order for you to find the right videos, you have to use the right terminology. A silhouette cameo or any cutting machine does not print. And that is like confusing for some people because some people got it thinking that it was going to have like ink to it and it was going to print. like the Roland. The Roland is a printer, but it's also a cutter. Whereas the Cameos, they're nothing more than cutters. So we'll say like, someone's doing vinyls, like instead of saying, I can't get it to print, it's like I can't get it to cut. It's just like using proper terminology. I see that a lot in Facebook groups. And so it leads me to like ask a bunch of questions, or I'll answer it a certain way. And that's not the question that they had. And it's like, oh, okay, you want to know about just cutting, because they're not sending it to a printer. So yeah, waving with the roll, like so especially if you're not using a mat, when you're loading it, you have to make sure that the vinyl, like there's rollers on there. And because it's so long on all the other, you know what? I'll grab, hold on. It's rare. Ugh, tongue tied. It's very rare that I grab my cameos, but it's a new year. So let's take a look, shall we? All right. Okay, so this style, like this is the 12-inch one. It's not the plus. This is 12. But with the plus, it looks just like this. So it's really easy to see. Like this is the most important roller. And we're going to go up. We're going to push this. The very last notch is when you have a mat. If you're using a mat, it has to be on this last notch, because when this goes over and it's trying to cut, if you have this here on the end, on the next one in, which is for no mat, if you have it there, you see, like it's gonna, your cutting carriage, like your blade carriage, when it goes over, it's not going to be able to like fully engage, which means anything like when it's cutting, if it's in this area, because see now this goes up and down, you're hitting this. So anytime it has to cut in this area, it's not going to cut because it's not going to properly engage. So if I move this over some, this goes down further. So you can't have it here and it's going to end up touching it because it's not going to cut. So whenever you have no mat, you can leave it here. This is the one for no mat. This is the one when you have a mat. So you have to have this in the proper position. With the Pro, it's like this huge bar and there's this like square thing that you have to move. You have to have that where it like on that, because this side you'll be able to tell where it's at. The other one, when you're moving that bar, it has to sit either right on the edge of your vinyl or right on the edge of your mat. And it's really hard to tell kind of like where it is because the roller part of it kind of sits up. It was a weird construction. The way that the way that thing was made was a very weird construction. So when people had it like either too far over or it wasn't far enough, it was too far to this side, their vinyl and their mat moves around. So it's almost like you got to get down there and like move it to where it's, and you have to find the roller and make sure it's right over the edge of your mat or right over the edge of your roller. I mean, of your material. If you have any other questions about the machine itself, feel free to ask. I don't often bring that out. All right. Hello. I think I can use HS Pigment ink in the Epson Eco Tank 15,000. Please confirm. You can use the ink in any printer. However, your colors are going to be off. The 15,000 is a dye-based printer. How you know, like the quickest way to kind of know is like your yellow ink looks like food coloring, whereas pigment ink is yellow. So while it will fit, the nozzles will definitely fit. You can go and pour it in, but your colors will be off. For some, they don't mind, like it's a little bit off. Others are like, you have certain reds, they may come out looking really, really dark. Like a lot of colors will come out looking really dark. So that's up to you. But just know that we do give the disclaimer that your colors can be like slightly off from the way that you see it on your computer. They should have made a stand. That was the other thing. Like, I mean, even with the Romeo, there's no stand for it either. When it comes to these larger machines, you would kind of want to stand, but the Romeo didn't have one either. I don't know if the GraphTech has one either. Because if you don't have space for it, but the cart that I got from Amazon is a good fit for both of them. It's a really long one, and you probably saw like when Christmas when I was doing the Grinch and that white table I was on, it folds down. So you can really tuck it away, but the spacing in the middle, like on both sides of the ends, it's long enough and wide enough for the Cameo and or the Romeo. So you can get that cart from Amazon. What do you mean? What about GraphTech? I'm not sure what your question is. Yeah, so the 24-inch mat was also like that was one of the biggest issues with trying to feed that. But the average person really didn't need it unless you were cutting a 24-inch piece of adhesive vinyl, because the HTV is like 20 inches. I mean, I guess you would need that one to be able to do like a 20-inch or 15-inch piece of like vinyl if you wanted to go really, really long. But to be honest, the average person that was using, the average consumer, wasn't buying the rolls of 24-inch vinyl to support that. Like they didn't really need that. You could still do everything. That's why I was kept telling everyone, if you're still gonna buy it, just go ahead and get a 24-inch, 12 by 24-inch mat, or you can use a 12 by 12 mat. You didn't have to use the big one. So many people were struggling with using the big 24-inch mat with the Cameo, and then that little block that they have, it was messing up prints because it was pushing the vinyl up. So some people end up kind of having their own little makeshift things to where they end up putting it on a really big table and just putting something that really kept it level, because the block that they give you, it's only this big for this humongous mat, and it made the mat sit up. And so it wasn't feeding properly. Like I said, the construction of that was a whole lot of issues. Oh, no. I was just saying, as far as it having a stand, I don't teach GraphTech at all. I was just telling her, I'm like, I don't think the GraphTech has a stand either, because she would say she just wished the 24-inch one came with a stand. But as far as like with the GraphTech, as you can use Silhouette Studio, you can design, and then whatever software you're using to send your cuts to your GraphTech, you just save it as an SVG, you open it up. What we have to remember is Silhouette Studio is no different than Affinity Designer, Adobe Illustrator, right? Those two, or Corel Draw, both of those are vector-based softwares. They're not connected to any type of machine. But when you buy an SVG, depending on like who the designer is, they most likely design that SVG in Illustrator, Corel Draw, or Affinity Designer. Like you can't really design like SVGs in something like Canva or Photoshop. So they're designing in those. Silhouette Studio is no different. Like that's why I said, think of it as something totally separate than the machine. It's just a design software. Crafters will have this mindset of, oh, I don't want to have to use two different systems. Oh, I don't like switching between two different systems. But it really isn't. If you ever upgrade to a GraphTech or any of these other major cutters, you're going to need to use two different systems. You're going to end up designing, and if you've like someone who's never been introduced to Silhouette Studio, they're designing in Illustrator, and then they have to take that and take it over to the software to be able to send it to their cutter. What the heck is that? The one thing about Silhouette Studio that a lot of people like who are Mac users, most of the commercial grade cutters, it requires you to use it in parallel, or you have to have a Windows-based computer. So some people like the fact that you can do it from a Mac. And then that's like with the Caesar as well. You can run the Caesar from a Mac. And the more commercialized cutters, you can't. You need to have it in pairs of parallel. I think it's like that one, or you have to have a Windows-based like computer just to run that. What size, what's your cut size on your GraphTech? I have a Cameo 2 and I love it. Actually, I have 2 of them. The 2, never get rid of it. Like, I don't care what comes out, any of the machines they have, don't ever sell it. Don't ever let anyone like, oh, I'll give it away. The 2 is literally the best machine they have. It's almost like you had it right the first time. Why are we messing with perfection? The 2 is literally the best machine that they've ever made. So protect those 2 at all costs. I wish I had 2 2s. I have 3 originals and then 1 of each of the other ones. I want another Cameo 2 so bad. I have an HP Windows 8 updated to the 10. For the life of me, I cannot open a PDF or zip file in Silhouette Studio. Yeah, Basic Edition, you can't. You have to have Designer Edition, Designer Plus, or Business Edition to open up a PDF. With the Basic Edition, you can only open up a PNG, a JPEG, a GXF file, or a Silhouette 2, or Silhouette 3 file. That's all you can open with that particular version. You have to update. We have a 30-day training, and the very first day we go over all of the features of the upgrades. So you can definitely check that out on the website. Oh, so you have a 24-inch, but okay, so it does have a stand. All right, I wasn't sure if it had a stand or not. Do you have a video that explains how to set up your blade settings for cutting different materials? In our first cut, I went through that. It's kind of like in my class, I'm able to kind of slow it down and ask, like, especially those in the room, like, what are you using? It's a lot of every paper is different. So you can have like Michael's, their recollections. It's all 65 pound, but they are so different. Some feel thicker and it's really, really smooth. And then you have some colors where they almost feel like construction paper. And when you look at it, like it's almost like you can see the fibers, kind of, sort of. They cut totally different. They do not cut the same at all. I always have to adjust my settings. So in the Silhouette first cut, I go over, like, I showed this demo of like scratching, and I use a piece of foam board and a X-Acto knife to break down how blade depth, speed, and force, like how they work together. So I don't have something just like on my YouTube, but it is in my first cuts. You are very welcome. I purchased my second Cameo 2 on Macari. I experienced an issue with my Cameo 3 and 4 spitting the mat all the way out the rear. Is there a way to fix or reset this? Is it doing it consistently? Like it hasn't stopped, or was it kind of like a little fluke? Normally, if you turn it off, turn it back on, it will basically correct that, or like really unplug it. That it'll correct that. But that's kind of a weird glitch that happens. What price would be reasonable to pay for a secondhand Cameo 2 in your opinion? If I'm being totally honest with you, if somebody literally had a Cameo 2 and it was at the retail cost for me because I love it so much. I would actually pay that. I can't say what's a reasonable cost because I put a lot of value on it. Like to me, that thing is valuable. And if I really, really wanted it and that was the only one, they were still charging regular, I personally would. But I mean, it's been out for a while. We've had 2 generations since then. 3. Now we're on 3. So I can't tell you. You just have to figure out what's reasonable for you because what's reasonable for me is not what's reasonable for you. That's only I don't know how else to kind of say it because I love that machine. So yeah. No, the sale was on for a whole week. It was the end of year sale. So December 31st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that bad boy was over. It was the one job. I copied the image to another screen and it worked. Yeah, like it's sometimes it's just a glitch. Do you offer one-on-ones because I feel like I'll be your special child? We do, but unless you want to spend a small fortune with me, I recommend doing the classes first, right? You have to look at like my 30-day training. For me to break down just Silhouette Studio, we're not talking about designing anything like step by step. We're not talking about applying anything, printing anything, cutting anything, just to learn the tools and functions of Silhouette Studio and really understand the why, not just the how. Took about 25 days. And in those 25 days, we're in sessions that are an hour to 3 hours long. Now, the ones that are 3 hours, it's more so because we had several people, they were following along and stuff like that. And, kind of like not rushing, like giving them the time to adjust because I know like where to click at and I can immediately do it. So it's like waiting for those to kind of go through it, answering questions, and sometimes have to answer like multiple questions. So it is a little bit longer in that aspect to where if I did a one-on-one session, it still would be very long, especially if you want to do step by step. Now, if you just kind of want, okay, hey, do me my private session so I can answer questions and you just show on the screen and I'm going to try it later myself, it can probably be done real quick. But if you're trying to do in the manner that we did in the 30-day training, where I'm waiting, I'm allowing people to click, I'm allowing them to share their screen, that program is almost 40 hours. My rate is $50 an hour. So I don't know if you want to, and that's just to learn the program. So my recommendation would be to at least do like the 30-day training, get used to that. Do some of the design challenges because that, we did the I do, we do, you do format for those. So try some of those and compile questions. That way, when you're coming into the session, it's like we can be focused and we can like we'll have a goal for what that hour session is or or whatever. But we do offer one-on-ones. We actually have some people that are coming into the shop. We have a one-on-one tomorrow. We just had someone else ask about coming because she like somebody that she found here was she didn't like the way they taught. I also have someone that's coming in for a one-on-one on how to do decals for cars. So like if they're doing like commercial ones to put like their business name and all that stuff. So we do hands-on in person if you're in South Florida, but we also do one-on-ones online. I found my second one online. She used it literally 4 times and couldn't figure out how to work the program. Dang it, she should have found me. I paid. You paid $20 for a Cameo too? She really just wanted to get that out of her house. Oh man. Now see, I would have been conflicted because the professor in me would have been like, no, don't give up. Let me help you. Watch my videos, take my classes. But the silhouette enthusiast in me would have been like, okay, girl, it's fine. Let me get that for $20. I would have been so conflicted in that moment. Woo! I would have been so conflicted in that moment. Mm, 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 mm. As you should have. As you should have. It's hot in here now. Oh, well, I can't stand a 3. So to me, a 3 isn't even worth $5. I mean, it's a good deal that you got, but to me, the 3 isn't even, I'm mad that I had to pay full price for mine. I think the 3 is not even worth $5. I mean, it's just a personal thing for me. I can't stand the 3. It is for teaching and teaching purposes only. I'm new to the whole game and on a budget. That's how I feel about the Epson Workforce printers, my favorite. Yeah, the workforce, the old school workforce is not the new ones. The old ones were great for those on a budget. Like it was amazing. Now it's like, eesh. My 3 is sitting on the shelf. The 3 was my first, and I want it for free. Get off my 3. I mean, a lot of people were introduced to I think they ramped up their marketing a little bit more when they dropped the 3 because it had like the dual carriages. It had a higher clearance so you can do thicker items. So a lot of people were introduced to Cameo via the 3 because they ramped up their marketing during that one. But it was still the worst. That's literally the worst machine that they have. So before I get one, I just want to make sure I understand. We can do similar to the print and cut, but on a larger size. Let me take you over to Select Studio and show you how large of a print and cut you can make. Um, I've have quite a few videos with the 3. My main and my number one is the same issue. I don't really have the issue. Well, is one, I can't stand the auto blade. 2, it was just like there were so many of those machines that should have been recalled because the what is it? The when you're looking at it, that would be the right roller when you're looking at it was messed up where you had to put like tape on it. The Bluetooth, it was always an issue for me. Half the time it never connected. The print and cut was not as accurate on that. Oh, I got a whole laundry list of things that the 3 just sucks. I hated how big the door was. It made it limited where I can put it at. Some people have like a really big open space, or for them just opening it. And some people take that off. I'm not gonna, that kind of defeats the purpose. I hated the buttons on, I hated the screen on there. It's just a whole lot of I just it was just a no for me. Okay, let's switch over. Ooh, not remove, add to stage. What app or website did you find the deal on? Oh, okay, that was for Jacqueline. Hey, Kathy. All right, let's go over to. So the 2 has the repeat function also. So you can repeat job with the 2 and the 3. The 4 is the only one that didn't have it. And people, like, I mean, that was one of the biggest mistakes they could have ever made with taking that away. But it's because they were trying to make this whole little streamline thing and not have any actual buttons. So on there really wouldn't be a way to kind of have a repeat job like functionality on it because they made it to where it was like, there's no buttons, there's no actual screen to this. So the only space that you have is like here, and it took up all of like the spacing. So it's going to be interesting to see. I didn't really see anyone use the repeat job to know where they put that button at. But because they made this like flat panel, but the 2 and the 3, that's why I say the 2 is literally the best machine because you got with the 2, you got the the repeat job. That's when they first added that the USB. So you're able to just save the silhouette file to a USB, plug it in there, and just cut it on the go. The print and cut is the best on that one. The one thing I didn't like was when they took away the USB. The Cameo 3, one of, I guess, its key features, which most people do not use, is the barcode. So where you can print something out, it has a barcode and it reads it, and you don't have to put in any settings or anything like that. It will just read it like it's stored in there. So the barcode was like one of the better features of the 3. Like outside of that, but the average user never uses the barcode. Yes, they all use the same blade. Like all of them can use a ratchet blade. I mean, it's the manual one. You can't use the auto blade, of course, but I don't use the auto blade. I cannot stand the auto blade. I only use the ratchet blades, or manual blades now, is what they're called. All right, hold on. Let me flip y'all around. Okay. We're going to go Cameo. And I'm going to show all of them based off of mat size. Oh, yeah, I despise auto blades. Okay, with the 12 by 12 mat, this is where you're technically kind of sort of limited to like your average size paper. You would not be able to do 8.5 by 14. You can do 8.5 by 11. If you are, a lot of scrapbookers and things like that, you do a lot of paper crafting, you probably had like the Basil paper that was 12 by 12. As long as your printer can print 12 by 12 or whatever the largest size is, you can cut bigger. So print and cut is more so determined by your printer more than anything. If your printer can't print 12 inches wide, if you only have a 12-inch mat, you can only do 8.5 by 11, unless you want to do like get 8.5 by 14-inch paper and cut off 2 inches and make it 8.5 by 12. So if you have 8.5 by 11, I'm going to turn on my registration marks. I'm going to turn on my show cut border. And we're going to make a box. There is a video on YouTube that's going to go into this in much more detail. I'm telling y'all, I have a video for just about everything. Hi, Hans. Hey, honey bun. How art thou? Okay. I'm going to... We have to set our date for me to come back and try and figure out what's up. They never did contact me about the chip. But they did give me a suggestion on like getting the ink to flow. So we need to set a date where I can come and at least test that part. So I'll get with you offline. This is the only person that really gets house calls. That's my baby. When I say support, like him can get house calls from day one. And I was the one where he's always impressed the fact that I came to him and hand delivered his chip resetter, his ink on 4th of July. And ever since then, he can't get rid of me. We can't get rid of each other. That's my baby right now. Okay. So this box okay, is the kind of like the technically max size if you don't touch anything. So it's like having a space of like 9.75 by 7.234. But you do have to avoid sorry, I know it's going crazy for y'all over here. you have to avoid the registration area. So you can't like go way up here, but you can go as high or as long as this, like if you're in the middle, and as wide, as long as you're not near the registration marks. But there is this option where you can adjust your insets, but you have to be mindful that your insets will print based off of the type of printer you have. And some printers, because of their standard margin, will cut off the bottom part. So in our first cuts, I go into more detail in the video about print and cut, like what's your max size for print and cut. You can find that on Silaholics Anonymous's YouTube channel. I go into a little bit more detail. So if I push this out, you see the registration marks moved away. So now I technically, as long as you have a printer where once you print it out, the full registration marks will print. It now increases this to 10 inches by 7.7. And that's on 8.5 by 11. If you are doing 8.5 by 14, you have to change your mat to 12 by 24 inch. And now you're increasing the size that you can, the width won't change, but you now have a full 7.7 by 13 inches that will actually cut. You don't have to have your entire design inside the cut lines. It will still print. It just will not cut that area. So if you only, like if you have to leave like a really small area, and it's outside, it'll go around, it'll cut everything. You just use your scissors and cut that. Just try to make it where what's outside of the registration marks is not something that will be really difficult to cut if you're not great with cutting, but you don't have to stay inside the cut border. You just have to stay away from the restrictive areas, the registration mark areas. Make sense? So then if you do 11 by 17, that space becomes 16.245 by 10.2, roughly. If you end up doing 12 by 18 paper, because that's like a standard size as far as like regular paper, like glossy photo type paper, it's like a 12 by 18, then you can do 17 by 11.2. If you're doing like a print and cut on sublimation paper, or you find a paper that's 13 by 19, or you make your, you can't do 13 by 19, my bad. On this one, you can't do 13 by 19. That's why some people went to the 15-inch one, but then with the 15-inch one, you still can't do 19 inches. So it's like, dang it, I need to get the 24 inches because that's the only way I can print and cut 13 by 19. So it's kind of crazy. 13 by 19, you technically do need the 24-inch, but then that means that you also need that huge 24 by 24-inch mat. They don't have like a, like I wish they would have made a 15 by 24-inch mat. Like you have a 12 by 12, a 12 by 24, you have a 24 by 24. Why not make a 15 by 24-inch mat? Because then you would be able to do 13 by 19s on there. So as you can see, you won't be able to do 13 by 19, but if you want to cut off an inch, you can do 12 by 19. That's why I always say the max paper size that I use is a 12 by 18 with my cameos. Make sense? So that just kind of gives you an idea of your max cut size when you're doing print and cut with the cameo. I have to figure out how to use my roll-in for lamination, meaning you're going to use your your roll-in, meaning you want to print it out, laminate it, and then put it back into your roll-in. That I'm like so mad at myself because I kept waiting to do the roll-in one. And so many people now are getting the newer roll-in, but the training for it is going to be a little bit different for the old roll-in versus the new roll-in, especially when it comes to those laminated ones, because of how it loads in. It's going to be kind of hard. Like you're going to have to leave a lot of extra vinyl with that one. But I do have the rolling class. It's going to come up, and that's a big one. And it's if you want to kind of just test it out, the biggest thing with it is if you are someone who's trying to conserve vinyl, it's not going to work. Like it, you have to leave a lot of vinyl on the leading edge and on the trail end. It has to be a lot of extra vinyl there so that when it goes past the sensor, it doesn't read like end of page. That's the only thing when it comes to that. So when it comes to your roll, you want to be able to use the Roland and the Cameo Pro. You have see for me, mine isn't attached. Oh, it's attached to my laptop, but you just have to print it out. Like you just have to set your design page, print it out, and then put it on the mat. That's it. Like there's nothing like it, you'll treat it just like it is a regular print, but you then have to like cut, like how can I say, like cut it down. I'll tell you, I'll show what I mean. Hold on one second. Let's see. Over here, I coach a cheer squad in my area. The girls' parents weren't financially able to provide all the fun attire. That's really how I got started too with mine. I was a cheer coach. And it was to help out my squad and make them like all the practice shirts and stuff like that. That's you are my spirit animal. I love you because that's exactly how I got started. I just want to thank you for your classes and instructions on here. I was able to purchase a 4+ last month for $179 in my budget. I cut my first project this week because of your instructions. Thank you so much, Creative Notions, for that feedback. I love it when you guys come back and let me know that the videos helped you. I don't get a lot of that. I don't get enough. I get some, and I'm appreciative of it, but I love it when you guys come back and let me know what you were able to do based off of the videos. Hubby brought me a Cameo. I made the girls all their shirts and bows. Me too. And they had, but they had to earn their items. So no one knew that it was. That's so awesome. We kind of fundraised where my parents just kind of like, we fundraised to buy all the shirts and all that stuff. And it was kind of like fun for them. They liked the fundraising part. And then I just made everything. We just kind of made it to where everyone kind of pitched in, or like the parents would either fundraise, or I just had them like buy smaller items, like certain things, so that everyone just kind of got this, everyone got everything. Awesome. All right. So over here, if you're trying to use you have to remember, you are not using, you're going to use the Cameo. So I'm going to go here and let's go Pro. You're limited to, so it would be 20 by 24. If you're going to put it on the mat, right? It'll be, come on now. It'll be 20 by 24 because that is the max size. But technically, most of the vinyl is not, let me see. If you're doing adhesive, yeah, still 20. If you have to measure it to see if it's exactly 20 inches. If it's not 20 inches, then you're going to end up with, an issue. So you're going to make the size for printing purposes. You're going to have to cover it up. But the part that you're probably missing is you're going to need to, which there's a certain way to do it, but just like in general, you're going to have to put a mark, and you're going to have to add some weight to it here and here, so that you know where to cut that vinyl to, where it is the exact size of what you put into the system. That way, when you put it on the mat, it's looking for that registration mark in the right spot. If you just try to randomly cut it to match the size, it's not going to line up. You have to cut it down. So you need to make sure that you have a large self-healing mat, preferably not have your print go bigger than your self-healing mat. You want to have a large ruler and preferably a rotary cutter, because it has to be cut down exactly or it will not read. But you have a Roland. Why are we putting it back in silhouette anyway? You have a Roland. It's meant to do that. You just have to leave more on the front and more on the back. Helping me walk through my first, let me see, what was that? Helping walk through my first steps. We are teaching digital art incorporated, making the t-shirt. Am I missing part of your questions? Because it's just like, it seems like it's starting here, but there was supposed to be something before it. So I'm not sure. With original art, many hiccups I have, but you always explain it away and make it all seem possible to learn. Or was it a thank you? So thank you for helping me walk through my first steps. I don't know. It seems like it's missing a first part of it. Oh, you want to free up your rolling for other prints. So yeah, you're just going to have to make sure that you cut it down to like the exact size. But you also need to figure out, like, don't let that be the first time you're like, when it comes to your print cuts, if it's moving, you want to figure that out on just like some regular paper and making sure you know where to put your rollers at. Figure all that out before you attempt to do the lamination. Even with my class, you still need to make sure that you already know how to do print and cut, because I won't be able to go through all of the print and cut things like if I'm just trying to focus on the rolling teachings. I just recently, what is that? Jade is too real. I just updated not too long ago. We just did a live video. I am currently on version 4.5.760 business edition. I mean, I would recommend, if you're not printing on yours like all the time, like if it's not going and printing like all the time, I would recommend that, when you have some downtime and you're able to dedicate the time to that particular project, print it out, laminate it, and just put it back in the rolling. You want to do you have a large format? I mean, you can always, if you guys want to do that, and just as far as like practicing putting it on there, you can do like I did for many, many years. I did not have a roll-in. I ordered my prints and I, made things with it. So it's okay to start off with outsourcing. Okay, cool. I saw, wait. So that particular one doesn't say 32 or 64, at least the last time I did it. If it gives you the option for 32 or 64 bit with that 4.5 version, do the 32 bit. Don't do the 64. But when I did it, that version did not give me the option of 32 or 6 or 64. The 4.5.760 It didn't give me the option. You're very welcome. All right. So we've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. I have a question for you guys, right? I got a couple announcements about how classes and things are going to go because I'm constantly getting asked that. The details will be out. I promise y'all it will. But for me, it is all, I'm going to just be very, I can teach beginner, right? I can definitely teach anyone. If you're on day 0, I can teach you and help you reach your goals. The problem for me is I have not been a beginner at this. Even when I got my cameos, it's like, or like learning Silhouette Studio, it's being a beginner to just that particular software. But I was used to designing in other softwares way before that, from Photoshop to Illustrator to Corel Draw. So I was able to take my graphic designing background in these softwares and apply it to designing in Silhouette Studio, to where I didn't have to pay for, at that time, like when I didn't have the money to pay, monthly for, or pay thousands of dollars for Photoshop or Illustrator. Silhouette Studio was great for me because I was able to do pretty much some of the same things that I was doing in those softwares, but I wasn't new to it. It's been a really, really long time since I've been new to graphic designing. It's been a really long time since I've been new to like just creating for projects and, getting to like knowing sublimation and like all the hiccups and mistakes like that. I've asked it a couple times, whether you want to email it to us, you want to post it in a group. But in order for me in 2024 to truly help you guys reach your goals, to help you master these machines, these programs that you have spent money on, you got to tell me the level that you are on, the things that you're not understanding. Like, I'm in certain groups and it's like, I can't get my sizing right. Most of my videos I've done lately have come from people who are not even a part of my community. Like, they're not in my groups. They don't come to my live videos, but I spend time in groups to be able to help anybody, like whether they have my products or not. Like, I'm always spending time in groups just to kind of get a feel for beginners and newbies. But if you guys you're my audience, like those who've actually found me are my current audience. Those who haven't found me yet, they're gonna be mad that that took them so long to find me. But I need to know what it is that you guys want, whether you are a beginner or whether you are like, hey, I've been rocking with you for a while. I think I'm past this. This is what I'm looking to learn. This is like the next step for me. Do you have anything for this, or can you curate some type of class for that? I need to know where your struggles are. When you are searching on YouTube, what is it that you're searching for? Don't say, well, whatever the topic is. I'm asking specifically, what is that topic? Because my brain does not operate on a beginner level. The thoughts and stuff that come through my head, it's not meant for beginner designing. I would never that some of that stuff is going to be reserved for more of the, I know that you can handle it, because it will get kind of frustrating to have to try and now break down fundamentals just because you like a design. Oh my God, I love the way you design, but you don't really understand the fundamentals of how designing work. You don't understand the fundamentals of how fonts work, how subtract and crop, and whether it's in Silhouette Studio, how clipping mask, if you want to learn Photoshop. As a beginner, even if you can let me know, like, hey, I'm only 2 weeks into this, I'm that much of a beginner, I'm a true newbie, I've been working this, trying to figure this out for 6 months, this is what I want to learn. I really need that in order to make sure that these design courses or design programs are catered to your needs. Whether like when bachelor's, it's for those, I would say like you're brand new to design. You've never had any real structured training in designing and really understanding composition, layout, typography, things of that nature. And we're gonna end up doing some things as far as design wise. Masters is like, okay, I understand these things. I'm just needing help with like the creativity and or how to create things like really from scratch. That's kind of what those will entail. So I really need your help to know like what type of projects, what type of classes you guys are wanting to learn, whether you're here, you're going to write it, it's commented, or if you want to email me, if you want to send us a message on the website. But I really need to know what it is that you guys need, because my brain doesn't go to I can recall it, but when I'm like thinking about like projects, I'm going to naturally go to what I'm comfortable with. Okay. So I really, really need your help when it comes to that. That's going to fuel our bachelor's, master's, and our doctorate program. So I have a treat for everyone that has signed up, especially if you got it for 50% off. We made a decision after my live video yesterday, like at the end of the new year, spoke with my husband on some prayer and stuff like that. My Essentials to Silhouette Studio. I think the hesitation for a lot of people with signing up for it is the fact that it was done 2 years ago. And you're feeling like, oh, this isn't relevant information. I'm always getting the question of, when are you going to do this again? When are you going to do this again? I told y'all, I'm never, ever doing the 30-day and in that format ever again. Like, that was a lot. Even with like trying to teach it like in that order was a lot. However, starting, actually, is it this week? Next week, there will be live Zoom sessions incorporated back into Essentials to Silhouette Studio. We will meet regularly to go over and pretty much be like a refresher. For some people, it will be an introduction, and you may need to go back to like the full video because it's going to be smaller classes to kind of like, if we do subtract, let's do a couple of exercises with like subtract and things of that nature. We're going to review some tracing so I can still do the I do, we do, you do when it comes to tracing, and make sure you're getting familiar with that. So we're going to incorporate live sessions. So it'll be our true beginner. When people ask, okay, where do I start? It's 30 days. And I know they still want to have that live experience with the professor, because a live experience with me is totally different than a live here, like on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. It's totally different in a live teaching, a live Zoom session. So they will start, and we will have regularly scheduled sessions every single month. I just need, to make sure that you guys are going to recommend it. That way we're always getting new students in, and we can kind of keep that going. So we're going to try it for 3 months, where if you've already paid into it, I'm going to give you guys what you've been asking for. I cannot do the 30-day training over again, but I can incorporate some live Zoom sessions. That way you can ask your questions. You know that you're going to be amongst those who are, just as fresh to this as you. You don't have to feel like, your question is a silly question, or people are, way past you. You're embarrassed to ask the question, because they're all in a beginner's program. So that is, one of the things I decided to do for 2024 is I'm keeping it the same. Of course, it still costs the same amount, but when you pay that, you technically have access to Zoom sessions. And like I said, we're trying it out for the first quarter, okay, until the end of March. So I need for you guys to still show up to the live Zooms. It is limited seating. As far as like in the physical Zoom room, it is limited seatings, but you will have access to the exclusive stream where you can still participate live. Like if we reach capacity in the room, you'll still be able to kind of like participate, at least watch it in real time and still put your comments like on that one. So it'll be like a secondary or like an overflow, but we are bringing that back. So if you signed up, got a great deal. I recommend that everyone sign. If you have not, you've been hesitant about it because you felt like, okay, well, that was 2 years ago. What new do you have for like beginners because you want that live experience? The 30-day training is still where it's at, and that's what you would sign up for to be able to learn Silhouette Studio live with me. What do I think about the portraits? I mean, for small format, they're great. I'm actually a little upset that I don't have any portraits. I always thought that I would get one. Then I'm like, I don't. I'm like, I want it more so for teaching purposes. Would I probably use them a lot? No. I find that those who really, really love the portraits are those who really keep to small projects. A lot of sticker shops have the portraits because they're just printing to 8.5 by 11-inch 8.5 by 11-inch paper. That's all they're really printing to for sticker sheets. So they'll have like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of those machines, and they're going, right? And they have all these sticker sheets going. So I see a lot of like those creators that will have a bunch of them. It works just like the Cameo. It's just a smaller footprint. INKcredible New Year. I don't teach Illustrator. So unfortunately, I will not be able to help you do that. I do not teach Illustrator. Only thing I teach in Illustrator would be like in my roll-in classes where we're going from Silhouette Studio and we are setting our cut lines in that one. And then, for those who desire, like we have I'm putting together a program for those who want to really make templates. And so it's easier for me to do certain things in Silhouette Studio. And I kind of use Illustrator as a pass-through. Do I use it? Yes, but it's not the program that I'm comfortable with actually teaching. So unfortunately, I'm not able to help you with Illustrator. Could you provide a set of tutorials on Sublimation on Photoshop? There is no teaching of like Photoshop just for sublimation. Remember, anything that you can design can be sublimated. Now, if there is a specific style, because there's no specific design style for sublimation. Some people kind of assume that, oh, it's the full-on backgrounds and it's the splashes. We went through this, like we talked about this in the crash course. If you take the crash course, we do a comparison and I kind of break down like the benefits of like Photoshop and then like what you're doing in like Silhouette Studio or Canva and things of that nature. That'll probably help bridge that gap. But I can't say that I'll ever do a class that's like, oh, this is Photoshop for sublimation, because you just need to learn Photoshop. There's no limit in designing for sublimation using Photoshop. But if there's something specific, like that you're wanting to, like, okay, you're struggling with text effects or like the layer styles, if it's backgrounds or making your own splashes and splatters, if it's a matter of just putting designs together, like you don't want to do just text, and in your mind it's like, I want to put together more complex designs, that's something different, but it's not just for sublimation. That would be literally for anything. She says, wow, if you're on the fence about getting the 30-day course, run, don't walk. I learned a lot in the 30-day as a beginner and apply to designs today. The 30-day is fantastic. And it's going to be even better because you guys will get some live time with your girl. Good night. The sale was live for, okay, what is it that you're trying to get? JM Designs for you. What is it that you're trying to get that you were not able to get for the whole week that it was on sale? Start now. go through it, because I'm not necessarily, like I said, I'm not going through like everything that's there, because some of these were like really, really long sessions. Like, I mean, really, really detailed and broken down. I mean, I'm going to have these. They're almost like, I want to say like study halls, but we're going to kind of like review them. But the information that's in the main one and the way that I structured that, it's like straight up, straight to the point, like information and knowledge. So like, please, that's the one thing I was always worried about bringing in more live sessions, is you guys are waiting for the live sessions to where you're not going back and watching the original content. You have to still watch the original content. Oh, the first cuts. Now, if it was like 30-day or maybe even the crash course, but first cuts is only $23.65. I won't bring it back. Like, I mean, if it, like I can activate the code that was for like essentials or something like that, but first cuts is $23.65. It was on sale for a whole week, like the whole entire site for nearly a week. When I signed up for the 30-day course, I thought I didn't need the beginning, but I went from day one to the end and I loved it. You learned more than you thought you would. Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much for that, Ty. Do I have permission to use that in for social proof? Can I take a screenshot of that and have your permission to post your lovely picture and your name when I am posting about like reviews and stuff for the 30-day? Do I have your permission to use your comment? Practice is, oh, yes. This is very important. Very, very important in learning. Very important. I used to tell my cheerleaders, they used to be so frustrated with me because we would do drills, like jump drills, and I need 10 of them perfect. If somebody messed up, we're starting over. You know, we get to a certain number. Okay, we can start from 5, but okay, now we need 5 more. But like, they are like being repetitive in it. As adults, we feel like we don't have the time to be repetitive. I want to be able to like watch it, learn it, and I want to be able to go, like, because we feel like we don't have as much time to take the time to practice and repeat it over and over again. In the design challenges, you can asking them, I kept saying, don't let this be the only time that you try this. Don't watch this video and it's like, okay, you do it one time, even if you got the playback of it, you're watching this, you accomplish it one time. Do it again. See if you're able to do it faster. See if you're able to do it where the tools and the functions become second nature. You have to keep practicing it. Any class that you take, if you watch a video of mine and you're going to try and follow it, if you have a design that you've made, make it over again. So many creators will make something and then they will forget about that. Like, they won't go back to it ever again. If that design took you 30 minutes, took you an hour, go back and do it and see if now it's like it's making sense to you and you can do it faster. Like, okay, like now, like my flow for this is a whole lot easier. You have to be willing to practice. You have to. Thank you. I did forget to ask, when I did the class summation for beginners, it listed a ruler and math you did in the, yeah. So I'm going to, not a ruler, it's the measurements, like the notches, the 1/8 and 1/16. And yes, I have to scan, I have to just scan that in so that you guys can fully see it. You can't use mine. It's just so that you could fully see it. I was going to scan it so you can see it. You still need to do the steps that were demonstrated in that, well, that was talked about in that one. Me scanning it is just for you to see how it should be set up. I think you're further back. Because everybody else can hear me, correct? Yeah, it's just a guide. So yeah, I will scan that in. It was, it's it was the holiday season, so I didn't really get a chance. Like, this is kind of like a full week back for me. And then once the kids go back to school next week, I really will kind of catch up. So all of those things will be put back into the dashboard. The 30-day training is great. When I watched the playbacks, I was answering questions like I was in the Zoom, because that's the way the setup makes you feel. I'm telling you, I don't edit anything out. You will literally feel like you are still in that Zoom session. Is there much different in the new version of Silhouette Studio compared to the version we use in the 30-day course? Not really. It was, so the newer version, it's little things like and that's actually what, thank you for, I knew that. I didn't even look at the name. I read it. Velma. See, between you and Terry and LaShonda, y'all keep me on my toes. Y'all always come with the dope questions. But I will say, the very first session, because you always say I answer your questions before you have them. The very first session is going over the differences. But it's like little things like you now have like smart snapping when it comes to the offset. It's not like a static 0.125. It's like whatever you had there, and you can kind of adjust like the corners. Of course, the way the what's that thing called? The page, like the design page, that's a little bit different. But everything else, like tracing is the same, compound path, all that works the same. It's literally like really small things. The newer version was more so for like the newer machines. You also have like print preview, which I think I talked about it because I was still using version 4.3. So I didn't show it. I think I just maybe showed screenshots, because I think I like updated, just take the screenshots, and then I did it that way. I think that's kind of how I did that one. But print preview, if you've had 4.3, you end up getting print preview. You end up with the automatic PNG trace. I talk about the pros and the cons of that. That's like one of the first things we're going to talk about again. I just talked about it recently in a live video, but that's going to be one of the first lives that we do with the differences between the old version and the new version. That's like not in the 30-day, but it's not a whole lot. All the other functionalities like subtract, compound path, none of that functionality changes. Thank you for the sale. It was awesome. I've been using Silhouette Studio since 2010, and I still learned a lot in the 30-day course. Yeah, I'm grateful for a lot of people that actually spoke up, even when we're doing it, and saying they had been using it technically longer than me. Because at that time, I don't think I had been using it. Well, hell, I haven't technically been using it for 12 years. No, now my nieces, no, I haven't been using it for 12 years yet. Like, so there are people who are using it way before me, and they still learned a lot, because that is how much energy and effort I put into how I put it together. And I took my background in graphic designing and using Photoshop and applying it and like really breaking it down. So things like, especially when we got to like the replicate, so many of them was like, I've never even touched that tool. The 30-day training will have you touching on tools that you have never used before. I don't have my calendar in front of me. I know I don't think it's next. It's not this week, because I have one-on-one sessions. It will end up being next week, because when the kids go back to school. I'm so excited for the possibilities to come. This gives me comfort in knowing what I don't understand. I can find some answers. Oh, you're going to find some answers over here. All right. So yeah. Oh, wow. We're an hour and 40 minutes in. I still didn't get a lot of responses. Hopefully that means that you guys are going to email me. I was really looking forward to seeing some of your responses on like specific things that you're wanting to learn. Like I said, you can definitely put them in the group or email us, the professor at hsink365.com, or you can leave a message on the website, like in the chat, if you have something in particular. Like, I'm not gonna like give you the answer back to it. It's just looking for ideas and like what it is that you guys are wanting to learn. Like, what is it that you're struggling on? What are the YouTube searches that you are like when you're looking for your answers? What are the YouTube searches that you're making? Because it's hard for me to think like a total newbie. I've been using it since 2016, and there's so much more I could be learning. The possibilities are endless. It really, really is. And that's, I think, for a lot of people, that's what's great about me is I don't kind of like teach one way. I've used Silhouette Studio. Let's just to break this down real quick, so you'll kind of know if I can help you. Do I talk a lot about sublimation? Yeah, I have one of the best sublimation papers on the market. I got to promote that, right? So everything that I teach is definitely not about just sublimation. It's what a lot of people know me for now because I've been talking about sublimation very heavily for 3 years because we have HS Ink. We have the product line. But most of my viewers who've been with me for a really long time, they know me from 3D paper crafting, like making boxes, like 3D boxes for parties and pillow, like just different the pillow boxes, all sorts of 3D things, centerpieces, cake toppers, cupcake toppers, chip bags, water bottle labels, um, explosion boxes. I did a video on that, like how to set like those up. All of the different cards. We made cards. I made invitations. Um, like that's all on the paper crafting side. We did a lot of layering with vinyl. It seems like a lot of my audience, once sublimation became trending in the crafting community, it's like, oh, I don't want to weed, I don't want to weed. But we did a lot with layering vinyl, making like decals and stuff. I have so many cups. I still have cups that have vinyl on it. So I don't ever feel like you have to do just sublimation. I have tons of cups that have vinyl on it. They saw me make like cheer decals, multi-layered decals, multi-layered for HTV. We use Silhouette Studio to create templates. I can't reach for it for like my phone board boxes. We've used Silhouette Studio and like printing for yard signs, both vinyl and printed. Oh my God. We've done some rhinestone. I don't think there's very much outside of maybe applique and like cutting fabric that I have not touched on as far as things that I have demonstrated here, like, you know what, in my old workspace or like just in my workspace as far as like completed projects. So if you are somebody that wants to learn vinyl, how to layer it, you know, to make decals, whether it's for cups, if it's for windows. Like I said, I have someone coming and it's going to be for cutting vinyl to be able to put um, on the side of vans. That's still an art form. That's still a business that's very, very viable in doing cuts of vinyl. So we do teach all of that. Don't ever feel like you can't post a question because it's not sublimation. I am not a sublimation coach. I'm not a sublimation professor. I'm not a sublimation mentor. I am a creative coach, mentor, professor. Feel like drop your questions, guys. Like, let me help you be successful in whatever it is that you are trying to do. Okay. Jamila, I'm so glad to see. It's a lot of names, and I think I missed because I saw him say here, we hear you, but I got to go find it because I know that he did not come in the room. Hey, just say, did I see LaShonda so I can say period? I don't know if I saw her up here or not, but I don't know if she's with us. Actually, no, because I saw a comment from her, but I don't know if I saw City Girl in the Country World. Period. Oh, there she go. Oh, yes. I will inbox you because technically today is Monday. So technically tomorrow should be a evening session. I have a one-on-one session tomorrow afternoon, and I'm hoping it doesn't wear me out. So I was trying to debate on whether or not I should do it in the morning. So I'm going to reach out to everyone that's in the creative lounge. I'm going to do it tonight to find out, because I'm like, man, I don't want to like not give you guys my all, because I have an in-house one-on-one session tomorrow. And I'm like, man, am I going to probably be burnt out and ready to go home? So I will message everybody that's currently in the creative lounge and let you guys know. But I have the mix, but you are my go-to for training, to get encouraged to get back in the crafting realm. I'm interested in incorporating sublimation and card making. So you would only be able to do that if if you plan on pressing your sublimation to something like glitter HTV, or like, the econo transfer stuff, and then you're going to press it to it, because you can't really press it to, or if you're going to laminate it and it's going to end up being shiny, there's no way to incorporate like just with cards and kind of, doing special effects to it, because you need that poly like setting. So that's still card making is going to pretty much still be your regular print. Things that you could do to enhance your card making is, if you have a laser printer, you can print the majority of, like, print like the main colors in like with the regular inkjet printer, and then maybe like some accent pieces, like if you wanted to have leaves or like flowers, it's like outline, print that, like put it back through a laser printer, and then you can foil. So that's something that you can do to kind of add a little extra to your cards, but sublimation would not be the method to use. There's really nothing I could think of like how you can add sublimation to card making. I'm back working from home, so I can get back to sneaking online. If you're using the 4.4 version, do you recommend doing the update? I mean, so far so good for me on my particular system. I haven't experienced any like crazy glitchy type stuff, other than the typical silhouette stuff where it just shuts down. And that only happened once. So I haven't had like a whole lot of it on my computer. So far, that one does seem stable. You can try it, but remember, you can always go back. You're never stuck in that upgrade. I've been up and back down to 4.3 a million and one times. What is the model or name of the Roman? So Roland. So it's a row. I'm going to put it in. Hold on. I'm going to do it as a banner. That's all the models. The BN20 and the BN20A are the older ones. They're like the bigger ones, and they're blue. You might find like they're no longer manufacturing those. You may still find them like in certain stores or certain places, like they're basically doing their closeout, and they may still have some, or you'll probably find them like marketplace or someone selling theirs. But the newer model is the BN20, BN2 20, BN2 20A. I believe there's a 20. I don't think it's just one. I think it's a 20 and a 28. It might just be 20, but if not, it's just the BN2 is the main part of that. All right. With no other questions being posted, I am going to get out of here, which means I'm going to make it back home before 8 o'clock. Woo-hoo! Okay, no. I'm gonna remove this. What, the 4.5 or the Rollins? Thank you, Jesse. It was great. Y'all know I had to do something with my peeps for the new year, like on day one. It's only going to get better from here. I thank you guys for, last year, and just pray that this year is very prosperous. You learn a lot. You meet all of your goals. Set goals for yourself, guys. If you have not done so that you're not kind of like, not say wasting your time like in certain classes, take this week and really think about the goals that you have on the creative side or the designing side. Learning how to properly place and size designs, like how to properly place elements. Think about the designs that you want to create. Write them down. Like if there's a specific style outside of AI, I can't help y'all with AI. If there's a specific style that you're trying to create, when I'm asking those questions, if you've never written it down and never really thought about it, it might be hard to put it into words, but write it down. I cannot stress enough the importance of having a notebook that you are keeping your ideas in. Write them down, 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 so that you can check them off and you have a marker of your accomplishments. And I've learned to master this. I've learned to master that. Like, I checked that off. I can design this with my eyes closed. This used to take me an hour to do. I'm now able to finish this in 15 minutes. So you want to have those goals, something that once we hit December 31st of 2024, it's like, man, look at everything that I accomplished. We're going to have some ups and downs this year. Everyone has ups and downs every single year. There's no way to avoid. No one ever has a perfect year. Something happens that will impact us. I guess you would say, like, in a not so favorable. I'm not going to say negative, in a not so favorable way. But there's also a lot of things that are really, really great that are happening. We don't really keep an account of it. We're not really tracking the good things, the positive things, the silver linings, in what we go through throughout a calendar year. So make sure that you guys do that. If you set goals and check them off, and if you set a goal and you don't reach it by the time we hit December 31st, 2024, that's okay. Maybe create a plan to make those things your top priorities for 2025. All right. So until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.